Now, to create an enum class in Laravel, there's no command to do that at the moment, but this is what an enum looks like. I'm going to create a folder here, and I'll call it enums, and we'll basically create our enums in here. So let's start by creating a file, and this is going to be called course level.php. In here, I can just say PHP, generate a namespace for it. And all we need to do for PHP enums is course level, specify the name and the return type. So in this case, we are going to return a string that contains the actual name of the course level. And in this enum class, we can specify the possible options that we can have for a course level. So let's start by saying case all, and that will just evaluate to the string all. Let's create another level, beginner, and that will evaluate to beginner, case, intermediate, and that will evaluate to intermediate, and case, advanced, and that will resolve to advanced. So wherever we access the course level, we will have access to the all, beginner, intermediate, and advanced cases, and we can then use that in our migration to set the default course level. So by default, I want to set the course to all levels. Okay, so when you create a course, I just want to say, well, we want it's made for all levels. So to set that as default here, we use the enum that we created. So course level all, and we want to get the value of the all case of our course level. Then over again in the course level enum where we're here, let's write a few methods to just be able to get some of the information we need from this enum. One of the things we need to get here is a list of all the values in our course level, and this will come in handy when we're actually pulling data to share with the front end. So public static function get values, and we want to return an array of all values in this enum. So return array map, and in each case it will take the level that we are mapping over. So level value, so whatever the level is here, it will take the value, and we are mapping over all the possible cases in this course level. So serve cases. In fact, let's go to Tinker and try to see what we're talking about here. If you go to app, enums, course level, cases, it returns an array of all the course levels that we have defined in the enum class. So we are basically pulling all of those cases and returning the plain values. So in this case, it will just return an array of all, beginner, advanced, and all of that. If we also do app, enums, course level, get values, then you should see that it's just returning a plain array of all the possible values. Let's also create one that returns both the key and the value pair of the cases. So we want to get a key value pair that returns the name of the enum case as well as a value for it. So public static function get array, and in this case we want to return array map, again similar to what we've done up at the top, and that will take the level and it will return something here In this case, what we want to return is a key pair value, one that contains the ID, so level, value, and the name, level, so UC first actually. So we want to take this and convert it to this. So UC first, level, value. And then we want to pass it whatever the list of cases that we are looping over, which is all of the cases in here. So let's go back to Tinker and we can just run that again. But instead of doing get values, let's do get array, enter. And now we have another array, which is a list of all the cases, including the ID, which is set to the actual value, and the name, which is what we can display to users in the front end in a friendly manner. So we are going to be using this, and we'll be creating lots of enums throughout this course. Laravel makes it easy for us to cast some of these fields into enums. So let's just do protected casts, and we cast some of the fields and tell Laravel what data types they should be returned as. So level, in this case, we want it to automatically be bound to the course level class, which means that each time we pull a level from Laravel, from the database, and the value is all, we should not have to do course level or value. Okay, if we just say course level or, Laravel will know that it needs to resolve that string to the cases that we have in the course level. Then while we are here, we can also just put the published at and cast that to a date time. And then we can cast the price to a floating value. Otherwise, it will be returned as a string. We have a straight blueprint for the course. We have the model, we have the migrations. We can run the migrations now. So PA migrate. And that should create our course table or courses table, which if we look at and we go to the structure, you do see that the default value for levels is all, the default for price is 0, 0, which is exactly what we want. Then we are also referencing the foreign keys here for the user table and the category and subcategories. So things are looking good so far. And in the next lesson, we'll come and tie in some of the relationships that we need in the course model.